The millennial generation can be a powerful force in politics. If we show up to the polls on election day, we can get our voices heard. And when our voices are heard, we can change things in our local communities and even the nation. Because every vote counts. So forget about what you may have heard. This is what I wish you knew about voting. Hi, I'm Waynika Walls, and welcome to I Wish You Knew. Millennials are the largest living and most diverse generation in U.S. history. With so many of us, we can literally shape the future of our country. But some exit polls during the primaries say that we don't show up in great enough numbers to make a difference. Why is that? Our panel of millennials is here to tell us what's up. Panel, please introduce yourselves.
Hello, I am Brittany Timmons.
I'm Torrin L. Cooper.
Hi, I'm Yasmin Arrington.
So let's talk about why we aren't showing up like in big numbers to vote and voice our opinions.
I think it's hard to show up to the polls and vote and to want to see change, but not to see change for so many years in your neighborhood. Like if you live in a less desirable or, in the ghetto or something, somebody call like the hood or projects, and you've been voting for years and you've never seen anything change, you're gonna think, well, my vote doesn't really count, I mean, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but the politicians say they're gonna do something, but they're not gonna do it. So it's easy to say, well, I'm not gonna vote no more because, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you say every vote counts, but everybody in my community is voting for this one person, but they still don't get elected. So I can see how it's hard for us to show up and say we're not going to vote.
And it's also based on like what we see, the example that some of our parents are setting for us. Some parents aren't that serious about voting and getting certain people into office. So it passes down to the young folks, us as millennials, and then we're not doing our share, just like the example that's before us is not doing their share.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I think that with that, though, every vote does count. I think sometimes it's just a matter of when you're, like, a part of the minority in the sense that, like, we're the people who actually vote, but then our peers don't, and we don't encourage them to, we're not going to see what we want reflected because a lot of what we want in the people who don't vote are similar. So when we don't get that and we don't get them to vote, our votes count, but they're not counting to the bigger picture because everybody's not putting in.
Right.
And I would say on a lower level, a lot of us don't have time. Or we don't, not that that's an excuse, but you have to be diligent about voting. You need, you should have a calendar. You say, okay, preliminary voting on this day. If you're working, you would have to call and call out, let your boss know, hey, I'm going to be voting. And I don't know if a lot of millennials.
Not taking that initiative to do
right,
that.
you have to take initiative. You have to plan ahead. And I just think in our world, millennials, we're always going. And I just don't know if we make that time, which we should.
And I know for some of us, I know some of our mindset is that the primaries doesn't really matter. So I don't know if we're not going to show up for the polls for the big election that's coming pretty soon. But for right now, our mindset is that we get to vote again later. I'll do that. But then that's where the pressure comes in because are you really going to take the initiative then to really do it?
Yeah, I think millennials will show up this time because now it's just like, all right, Republican, Democrat, you got to choose Hillary or Trump. Like, which one you gonna pick?
Right.
I mean, but I know
the lesser of the two evils.
Right, and I know a lot of millennials were like for Bernie, but he didn't even make it. And everybody's posting about, vote for Bernie, feel the burn, I'm feeling the burn, all this other stuff. But Bernie didn't get elected,
Because we're not showing up. I think the statistics are very factual. Like, we're about it on social media, but are we showing up to vote? I remember I worked a poll, and, like, the majority of the people that were coming in were not millennials.
Right.
So I don't understand how, I think that's a lot of who we, like, not we individually, but as a whole, that's how we are. Like, we're loud about it, we're boisterous. But do you really want it? Because if you want it, you have to work for it, and you have to kind of go towards that and go vote. It's not hard. It takes like 5 minutes.
Well, I think another thing is like being informed. Like Yasmin was saying, like you got to know when the primary is, when the major election is, and everything, and you got to know your candidates and stuff like that. A lot of people, millennials, we don't read. We see something on social media, we see the big titles, but we don't go click on that link and say, all right, well, this is what this is, or I need to go to Roosevelt to go vote, or maybe. If I have like some charges, like maybe I can't, vote, and that's another conversation to be had for millennials. A lot of people who may have like, felonies or stuff like that, or they can't vote, and they don't know they don't have that power to. And
so I will pose a question. What do you think we could do? Because to me, if that's the reason, then that would mean that somebody has to lead it and like just put it on social media. Because I know for Facebook, it's posted. It's like, are you voting in your area?
It's going to take more than that.
But that's what I'm saying.
We have to first realize the power that we as millennials have. I don't think that's sank in yet. I read something that said if your campaign is being based on the millennial vote, then you're doomed. That has it has a pro and it has a con to it, being that we have enough power to really support somebody and get somebody in office if that's what we want. But then the con is we don't use the power in our numbers to move and make things a difference if that's what we really want. We sit there and we wait on social media. All our power is in our thumbs. We'll tweet about it and post about it and retweet and do all of those things, but then it's just in social media and it's not getting to where it needs to go. It's not crossing that other barrier.
I think what you have to do is make it a family thing. Like this past election for local politics, me and my mom and my stepdad, we went to go vote. So I think you just got to physically grab your friend and say, hey, let's go vote, and do it like that.
Gotta make it a
so
function.
I think the consensus is that we don't understand our power fully. We have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more on what I wish you knew about voting. You do not want to miss it.
I would say we gotta make it a function.
Welcome back to I Wish You Knew. According to Pew Research, 6 in 10 Americans get their news from social media. Sounds about right, since we're always on our phones when it comes to politics, celebrity support, and candidates go viral instantly. Stars appear in video ads to endorse their favorites, and because they're also social media savvy, they tweet, Instagram, and take selfies for endorsements. Does the opinion of celebrities really matter when it comes to you and like who you guys vote for?
For me personally, no. It doesn't. What Gabrielle Union, and I love me some Gabby, who she votes for is not going to affect who I vote for. What their posts and what their images do when they appear on something, it does make you think. It makes you think for a moment on politics and what's going on. But for us as millennials, it doesn't last long. We think about it, we read the comments and stuff for a minute, okay, on to the next thing.
I think they don't have an influence on me about who I vote for, but they bring up the conversation enough to where you're conscious, you're thinking about it, it's current, it's in your vision. Just like I remember with Obama, it was Rock the Vote. Diddy, which is the ultimate promoter, like he was like marketing Rock the Vote so much, and it made so many people get out and vote because that's all we heard, that's all we talked about. So I think they have influence, even if they're not saying who they are voting for, but even if they are, a lot of the times it's just provoking thought. Like when you hear certain people say things that are completely against what you like, oh, now I really want to vote so that I can say what I got to say with this vote. You know what I mean? So I think they have the power to get us to talk about it and to keep it present, just like they do with their shows or anything that's popping. We tune in because they're tweeting about it, they're talking about it. So I think that's a major key.
So if your favorite celebrities had a political view that was, opposite of yours, would y'all still like follow that celebrity at all?
It depends. Why? Because as a fellow artist, I like them for their art, first and foremost. Their religion might be different from mine, and things that, as long as I don't know too much of what you're representing, I'm well and good. But if I love you for a certain song or for how you sing and things like that, I'm good with that. Who you're voting for isn't going to deter me from listening to your music.
I don't know, because if it's like somebody that I really like look up to, like, and they say, all right, well, I'm going to vote for Trump, or I'm against, people, women's rights or something like that, that's going to have an effect on me. Like, I don't trust you no more. Like, you wasn't the person who I thought you was. I mean, of course, like, we don't know celebrities personally, but when they voice their political views, like Stacey Dash and, Tommy Lawrence, well, she's on a conservative TV show anyway, but it's going to make me feel some type of way, and I'm not going to want to watch your videos or what you do no more.
Oddly, though, what I find is most of the people who have those opposing views, I never really got with from the beginning.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
There's
certain people that's like that. It was never on my to-like list anyway, because you did something else that was OC back in the day, and I just never liked you for that. So we always kept our distance from supporting you.
All right, what you think?
I agree. I don't think, for me personally, as a millennial, whoever the celebrity may be. I remember with President Barack Obama, I just kept seeing Kerry Washington, right? Now, Kerry Washington is a very prominent figure in the media today, but what her vote is won't necessarily influence me. However, there may very well be a large group of our peers that are influenced by that, because we have very strong minds. I'm going to base it off of my research. What candidate is going to give me what I need? I need I need health care. I need less on my college loans.
Yes.
These kind of things. It's really about who the candidate is and what they're saying they're going to do, less about the celebrities. And I appreciate them for their art first and foremost.
Well, I think it's also like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's also about like marketing too. Like Kerry Washington, Viola Davis, and the lead character from Grey's Anatomy, they did a video, and Shonda Rhimes for Hillary Clinton. They was like, I'm with her. So they know people watch Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, and Grey's Anatomy on Thursday. So they're gonna say, all right, well, we get these 3 stars from this show and say, I'm with her. Now everybody, that watch the show isn't a female, like it's males too, and everybody from different generations. So they know if everybody's watching the show, they have some type of attachment to the character. And if they voting for Hillary, then most likely I'm gonna go vote for Hillary.
You have to remember, they're very meticulous in their marketing. They know who their base, they know who their prominent audience is, their demographic is. If it does not resonate with their audience, I guarantee you there won't be a campaign for it. They know who is watching, they know the age group, they know the type of women that are watching and which way they sway. So I think that's very important. But then you have someone like Jesse Williams, who is voicing his opinion about something, who's on Grey's Anatomy, and you have people like petitioning not to do it, but Shonda's like standing up for him, because I think that is just because he's not saying anything wrong, but at the same time, it makes sense. Why wouldn't I stand behind someone who's just boisterous about what they believe in, and it's not anti-anything, it's just pro something else. So I think it has to make sense for a lot of people. They're very meticulous in what they do.
So let me ask one more question. All right, and this one will be it for me. All right, so we just saw Obama endorse Hillary. So let's say Obama endorsed somebody like Ben Carson. Would you not like Barack Obama for endorsing
That's a sensitive subject.
No, but
Barack Obama is a very sensitive subject for like that's uncle.
But wait.
So if he did something like that, that changes my whole mindset, like you said.
I don't know about that. I think that with certain demographics, if you look at the candidates that we have right now, Hillary and Trump, a young millennial demographic, African-American demographic, if we're listening to what Trump is saying and Hillary's our only other candidate, then we're going to vote for her regardless. You understand what I'm saying? It's so polarized that, yeah, sure, Shonda Rhimes and everyone, they could do something on BET and Centric, but it's almost, not that it's a given necessarily, but I don't know too many African-American millennials that are going to go vote for Trump. That's what I think. I don't know if it's good marketing, but I don't know if it's going to make a difference unless it's targeting people who were like, I'm not going to vote at all. You know what I mean?
See, we agree. I'm feeling you. More on the power of the millennial vote after the break. But first, tweet with us using the hashtag #VotingMatters and stick around for What's the Word? About voting with your friends and family can make for some awkward conversation at the dinner table or the cookout. That's because politics can be controversial, but it's still important to be well informed before Election Day. So what are some things that people can do in order to be prepared when they step into the booth?
Research, read. Know what the history of the candidates were before, when they were senators or House reps, when they were mayors, or governors, even before, to understand what their values are, how they voted with certain bills that were presented in the House and the Senate. Because honestly, that's gonna speak volumes. And then they have those commercials, the mud raking commercials. But how do we know that those commercials are actually 100% factual, which I'm sure that they're not always,
Yeah, I would say like knowing your candidates is important. And what's crazy is how candidates, I think it's just all about for TV. Like candidates will, you know, like Barack and Hillary, they ran against each other, and now he's endorsing her. So I think it's important to know like the history of what they support and what they don't support, what they did when they was a senator, what they did in high school, like what kind of clubs were they in, you know. So I think that's also important to know, like where they stand on policy. I know that some they put out on their websites what they plan to do or policies they have for different things. So I think just taking that extra mile and just going and reading up on some things or things that you care about. Like if I care about affordable college, I'm gonna go and find that, you know, Google got everything. You know, they don't have Ask Jeeves no more, but they got Google. You can Google everything, and then everything will come up about college affordability. Where does your candidate stand on each topic? So
is Ask Jeeves really gone? Like
I think they went away like a couple years ago.
Oh, okay, really?
But
I
don't
didn't know
quote
that.
me.
But for me, I would say to pass to other millennials is we have to accept responsibility. This one, at this point,
we're adults
it's
now.
nothing we can do. We have Hillary and we have Trump. So at this point, being that we didn't do our share and we wanted Bernie and all of this stuff, we didn't do our homework and we didn't do what we were supposed to do way back when. So now at this time, we have to step up. We have to make sure the man or whoever we don't want to be in office isn't in office, and we have to really make sure that we go out and vote. Everybody's deepest fear, and you see it in tweets, I can't imagine him being my president. Mercy. I'm moving to Canada, and I'm doing da-da-da-da-da.
I ain't moving nowhere.
First of all, you can't, I doubt you can get to Canada right now. You can't just go move up there. But what we have to do right now is accept responsibility, do our homework now, and start playing this game. If we feel like it's a game to us, if we feel like both of them
gotta play to win,
at this point, it's certain things that we can't have in office. We can't have certain people representing us.
That's right.
So we have to begin to grow up and understand that we can't just live in our now anymore. We're so used to just being in high school, and we're in college for now, and I have 4 long years to go. We're out of there now. Those 4 years, those 5 years are gone, and we're the adults that now have to carry a heavy load of responsibility and carry things that's going to affect us in the long run.
Right, I hear you.
I think also, it goes back to that. We have to understand the power in voting, but then we just have to educate ourselves because, again, like, I don't think that we understand the process of it all. We don't understand that when you vote for this person, typically they support the GOP, and the GOP responds this way, or the leader of the NRA does things this way, and they respond well to this. We don't understand how that works, so we don't see the importance of voting. Just like right now, we're seeing the benefits or lack thereof of the Clinton administration with the 3 strikes rule. We see that 20 years later. So you have to pay attention to things. That's and then all she offered us was, I'm sorry.
That's a good
sorry
word.
Does not fix the broken families that are affected by black males being incarcerated at a rate that is scary. It's alarming. Millions. And we have so many broken families from that. So you have to pay attention to, again, how these things work. Like, look, it's a line. It's a chain, and it links together, and everything has to make sense. We don't understand that. So I think that is why we're not that obsessed with it or worried about it, because we really don't get it. We don't understand how it works. And our parents, I don't even think knows how it works.
Right.
Yeah, it's like you said, like it's a chain, like a cycle. Like if your parents didn't vote, like some people, grandparents never voted before. And if they don't vote, they don't tell their children to vote, and they don't tell their grandchildren to vote. So that's why I think it stops with the millennials to
and
like break that chain.
And then they vote blindly. Like our parents loved the Clintons.
Yeah.
Now our moms are automatically like, oh, Hillary all day. But then my mom was the same way. And then I started to spit some of them facts, and she was like, wait.
Not the Clintons I know.
Yeah. But no, she accepted it because it was facts. And then it was like, oh, but look at Bernie, though. Look what Bernie has been doing through all of this time and what he stood for. My mom was like, okay, I feel the burn. Yeah. It's simple like that. And then next, when we go to a family function, we're talking to our aunts and everybody else. Everybody else like, oh, really?
Oh, really?
So now they feel the burn. You know what I mean? But at the time, it's too late.
But you know what I wish, though? What I wish on the flip side is that the few minority House reps and in the Senate, the senators, I wish that they reached out more to us as well. I don't see that as strongly. They may show up in the community and then it's snowing and they have the snow plows and for pictures and, it's election time again. No, I need them to educate us, right? So the responsibility, the circle goes all the way around. So we have responsibility, but they have a responsibility as well, especially people that have been there multiple terms.
Yeah.
So I think with that said, we kind of all agree that it's a responsibility that needs to be had. So That is unfortunately all the time that we have today. Thanks to our panel and everyone who's watching. We'll catch you next time, but before we go, what's the word, Yasmin?
Before you can vote, you have to register. For more information on voter registration in the district, visit dcbeoee.org or call 202-727-2525.